Hi guys, I'm Winston Henderson here representing on behalf of Evidence of Fitness. Now, what I really want to talk to you about today is word, helping you understand what is word really, because most people think about word, and when they think about it, what they really think about is like language or words in an essay that's written in a book. But it's so much deeper than that, it's so much more than that. What is word really? And how I want to really address it is talking about word from a spiritual standpoint, and word as the invisible, as the most potent and powerful form of anything that exists in this world. First of all, word I believe is really spirit. Word is not just spoken language. Word is something that exists in the invisible, in the spiritual, that can actually greatly impact our lives and everything that we do on a daily basis. Now, word really, really takes the form, or should I say, what I really want to speak about is how word actually impacts three different areas of your life. And I'm going to talk very briefly on all three of them. Now, the first area is how word actually helps to create your world, actually helps to create everything that happens in your life, whether positively or negatively. And the second thing I want to actually address is how word helps you to become the person you are. How word actually helps to create you as a person, as a being. And the third thing I actually want to look at is how even your associations, the words spoken by the people around you actually helps to affect or influence your life, whether in a positive or a negative way. Let's talk about word as it relates to creating, the word around you. One of the things you need to realize is that the spoken word is so powerful. It's such a powerful and potent thing that can actually create your life. That's why even in the Bible, in Genesis 1, when it speaks about, God created heaven and earth, and God said, let there be light. The verse actually says, God said, let there be light. He didn't say God waved his hand, or God thought about it and there was light. God, a word actually says, God said, let there be light. And that's why, the Bible even talks about, life and death is in the power of the tongue, meaning the power exists in what we say every day. So when you're walking around talking about, boy, things not going for me right now, boy, not going for me right now, this bad, boy, my job, this and my kids and everything that's happening. If you keep focusing and speaking on the negative things that are happening in your life, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more of those negative things in your life, because remember I said life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you need to be very conscious. It's not something that you can actually change overnight, but you need to be very conscious of the words that you speak. You need to speak positive words around you. You need to speak the things that you want into your life. If it's prosperity that you want, you need to speak that. If it's love from your family or from relationships that you want, you need to speak that. Whatever it is that you want in your life, you need to actually speak that, because the word is so powerful that it helps to create your world. Want to talk about is how word actually helps to create the person you are. And many of you, you may not believe this or may not understand this, but yes, word actually does help to create the person that you are. The person you are today is because of some word that was either spoken over your life by somebody else that you know, or probably because of the words that you continuously speak to yourself, even without you even knowing or understanding how exactly it works. And I can prove it to you. Take about, a quick 10 to 20 seconds. Not now, but when this video is actually finished, take about 10 to 20 seconds and try not to think about anything whatsoever. Just go in a very quiet place and don't say anything whatsoever. And I guarantee in that 10 to 20 second period, 80% of the conversation that you have with yourself is going to be negative. Why? Because that's just how our minds work, that's just how our brains work. We're conditioned, by society to continuously speak negative things in our life about ourselves, saying that, boy, I'm not good enough, boy, I don't think I'm worthy of this. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of prosperity. I'm not worthy of the things that I see other people out there experiencing, the good things in life. So what happens is that you continuously speak those words in your life and in your mind, and what happens is it lodges in your subconscious mind. So what happens is every time you're in a situation that requires you to be bold, to be that person that's outspoken, outgoing, all of a sudden it starts to replay everything that was conditioned in your mind before, saying that, boy, I'm not good enough, boy, I don't know if I can do this. And trust me, it happens, but the problem is that most of us aren't even aware of our thoughts. Most of us don't think about what we think about. Let me say that again. Most of us don't think about what we think about, and what you need to realize is that the words that you're saying to yourself, the words that you're thinking, they help to create the person who you are. So you need to constantly tell yourself that I'm beautiful, I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm someone who's going to change the world, I'm someone who can change my family, I'm someone who is loved, who is cherished by everybody around me, because the words are that powerful. They help to create the person who you are. Now, before I actually go into the third aspect of word as it relates to your associations, let me actually say this. When you actually speak these words, when you actually speak these positive, empowering words, it's not just a matter of saying it. The word doesn't activate when you simply just say it. You have to actually believe what you're saying. Because life and death is in the power of the tongue, actually. Let me say that again. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, actually. Remember I said that. So when you're actually speaking, you have to actually believe the things that you're saying, or else it won't work. Remember what God says. Faith is actually the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Which means you have to have faith, which means you have to believe in what you're saying. Because when God says you should call forth those things that be not as though they were, how can you actually call something forth from the future in the invisible to right now in the visible? How? You have to actually believe it. You have to actually have faith in what you're saying. So moving on very quickly, what I actually want to get into is the third part of word, which is the associations. Now, most people don't realize this, but the people who you associate with actually help to make who you are and help to create your world. The people who we associate with and what they talk about, the words that they're saying, the things that they're saying actually help to create the first two aspects of word that we just addressed. Now, it's very important that you be very mindful of who you choose to associate with. Why? Look, think for example, if you have people who are very cynical, who are very negative, where the only thing that they talk about or conversate about is things that are negative, the doom and gloom. Boy, the economy this, boy, the job's not available, boy, nothing now go on. Then guess what? Even if you're a very positive person, after a while, all that negative conversation and energy is actually going to help to create you. So all of a sudden, you're going to start becoming a cynical person. Because remember what I had mentioned before in the last video, that when you actually speak certain words, it lodges into your subconscious and lodges into your mind, and then becomes a part of your heart. And whatever becomes a part of your heart, actually becomes a part of you. As Solomon actually said, for as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever the words that you hear actually helps to become a part of you, actually becomes a part of your heart. So when you have negative, cynical persons around you that all they can talk about is all the things that are wrong in their life, then guess what? Pretty soon all they're going to start noticing or focusing on are the things that are negative in your life. So that's why it's very important to be around people, be around associations that can speak positively. That can look on you and say, hey, you're destined for greatness, you're going to be a great person one day, opportunity abounds all around us. Because think about it, why is it that majority of the people in the very same economy, in the very same time, experiencing the very same things, can have everything happen wrong in their life, but yet you have other people out there who, even though there are very few other people out there who can actually, take opportunity in a very negative, or should I say, a very down economy when everything seems to be going wrong. Why? It's not because of their experience or their situation or their resources or the people who they know are any different than you, than your situation or circumstance. It's simply because of the words that they speak around themselves and the people who they allow around themselves, who can only speak positive things, who can actually, propel them in the direction they want to go in their life to fulfill their purpose and their destiny. So with that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope this video was actually, very, very enlightening, very important for everybody out there. And I just please implore you, please, study word more. Study word, whether from a biblical standpoint, whether from a philosophical standpoint, it doesn't matter. Just study word. Study word. Trust me, because it's absolutely powerful. It's a very powerful thing. It's a very potent thing. And I've had experience with it in my life, and I know for a fact that it works. And it's not just theory I'm talking about. And I'll leave you with this, that God said. God says He honors His word above His name. Why? Because word is very powerful.